episode. Another short one. This week we're going to be kind of doing the highlights of our travels from when we last left off, which was at Red Street Campground.
Yes. And from there we went to St. Eugene, KOA, outside of Cranbrook.
And nice views of the mountains in this location.
This is from the road that separates the casino and resort.
We haven't stayed at a KOA since our honeymoon. That's almost 45 years ago.
Wow.
It was a nice experience.
There's our Glacier Peak in front of mountains.
In front of Glacier Peaks.
Yeah.
This is the St. Eugene Residential School.
Yeah. It's no longer a residential school. It's now part of St. Eugene Casino and Resort. They took it back, and we'll talk more about it in a later episode.
Yeah. There was some things in here that, I don't know, I guess really gave me kind of that emotional sense. Just outside of the school, there is a statue that we're going to take a look at here in just a second, right here. And that really had quite an impact on me. So you went into the facility and you've talked to some folks, and so we're going to do more in depth on this at a later time. This really quite emotional when I saw this.
Very poignant. This is the community and schools cemetery, and it is still in use.
Yeah. So from St. Eugene KOA, we headed into Fort Macleod, the Riverside RV Park. I really like this place. This one was really nice. However,
we took the highway between Cranbrook and Fort Macleod. It goes through the Crow's Nest Pass, and it rained. This is Turtle Mountain, or what's left of it.
Frank Slide.
Yeah, yep. Frank Slide, and this is...
We were right on the Old Man River. Really nice. You couldn't tell where one location was to the next location. It's just all a big area of grass, but really friendly people. We really enjoyed our stay there.
Yeah.
From there, heading up to Okotoks. Now, the reason for Okotoks was really we just had a whole bunch of stuff we needed to get done in Calgary. Maintenance on the truck and things like that. And it was, again, very, very wet while we were there.
So we did some puddle hut jumping.
Yeah, big puddles all over the place. And Maury was quite fascinated with the deer. You took him out. Yes,
I took him out. And he, this is his second time seeing deer. And he was just looking. Now his tail starts wagging. And
Now, I didn't know you were recording this. I'm sitting there reading a book on my iPhone, and you brought out a little bag of treats, and I was so distracted I didn't even realize that all the treats were gone. So I reach over to get the treats and realize the bag is empty. So I have a drink and go back to reading. I want to be clear about this. This is just something that we do in our off times, but in the time since we've been out on the 20th of April, I'm on to book number 10 already, so I am doing a fair bit of reading.
I have no idea which book number I'm on, but I've read a lot of cozy murder mysteries.
Yeah. So this is us in our downtime. This is me not knowing I'm being recorded, so thankfully I'm not doing anything stupid. But really, after a very busy day, I have to say that it's nice just to sit in the nice, comfortable chairs and relax and read. From Okotoks, we went up to a little campground outside of Drayton Valley. This is called Pawtucket, which means come in the native language. And again, right out in the woods, we had a really nice campsite here. Took the time to get my knives sharpened, another one of my hobbies I brought with me. Made breakfast outside, another one of my hobbies. And this was really the highlight. We're out walking Maury. You had him on the leash.
He spots something moving. I spot the black and white. I'm thinking, cat? Oh, no.
Yeah. So it was zoomed in a little bit here. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. And then it starts running towards me. And I'm thinking, and then it stops and goes into its defensive mode. And I thought, maybe it's time to just leave. I thought when it ran away, it was coming towards me. So I had the frame out of focus, but it turned out it was running off into the woods.
This campsite was maintained by the
Métis Society.
Métis Youth Society.
Yep. From here off to Wabamun Provincial Park. I was here several times when I was a teenager. I haven't been back since I think I was about 15. Remembered it well. It's a very nice campground. You are really kind of off in the woods, each of the sites.
Yeah.
This is actually in the town of Wabamun. This isn't at the provincial park, but Wabamun Lake is known as like the dragonfly capital. I love this picture you took of the dragonflies.
Yeah.
But we had to go and look at the big dragonfly to make sense of all the little dragonflies. Thousands of them everywhere you walked.
And gulls.
And gulls. And this is the beach. Like that picture you took of that bird in flight. That looks
Reminds
really
me of Jonathan Livingston's seagull.
Yeah, that's the beach. This is one of the docks that's there. Libby made it look really nice. The reality, however, is if you take a giant step backwards. Now, this is the dock that replaced the one when I was a kid. That one they've already torn down. This one they built. Now they have to tear this one down again.
Politics keeps it up.
Yeah, so now it's just a dangerous structure, keep away. But it was a nice location for wiener roast. Roasted up some sausages so that we could have some roasted garlic sausage. And you took a chance at making cookies.
Yeah, you know, so I made cookies in the RV oven, and chocolate chip cookies worked out. Plus, you did this?
I did. This was our attempt at making pizza with the toppings on top of the cheese. It'll be the last time we do that. We didn't like it.
Yeah.
And there's Maury staring off at Wabamun Lake before we headed off. And our last stop on this section is in Atchison Park. That is about, I don't know, what would you say, halfway between Edmonton and Spruce Grove? Roughly, maybe not quite half.
Yeah.
It's about 10K
Edmonton
outside of
keeps
Spruce
going
Grove.
towards Spruce Grove and Spruce Grove. Yeah.
The day we got there was a nice day. One of the few nice days. It rained off and on for most of the time we were there.
Friday, June 7th.
Yeah, we came in here. We were celebrating a birthday party, and so we came into this park. My dad turned 90 while we were there, so we picked this one. It was just about 10K away, less than 10 minutes away from where the party was being held. And this is a nice park. Right as we came in, you could see there's a little RV dealership. They sell propane. They do rentals. Over to the left, about where we are right now, there's an off-leash park, which was kind of disgusting with the amount of dog stuff that was left laying around, if you know what I mean. All the trees are up front.
These are for the long-term residents.
And this is where we were, way in the back lot. Now the people,
transients.
Yeah, the people that own this particular facility also have a storage lot. And we were 20 feet away from the storage lot in the very back row of this place.
That was our view.
This is pretty typical of an RV place. That was our little spot. A little bit of grass. You know, we could get set up, and on the way out, as has been so much of the first couple of months that we were out, another day of rain. And again, we've often said this, that if we had been in a tent trying to do this trip, we would have gone home weeks ago.
It's really neat sitting in the trailer, in our loungers, listening to the rain on the tin roof.
Yeah. Is it a tin roof? I hope it's not a tin roof.
PVC.
Whatever the roof is, whatever the roof is made out of. Yeah, it's nice. It's very relaxing. But I have to say, it will be nice to eventually get some nice days, and we do see some of those coming up in future episodes, I am sure.
Yeah.
So this was a nice park. We enjoyed this this time. It was nice that it was so close to everything. It was close to some of our family. It's close to, you know, all the major stores. Zipped into Edmonton on one trip, and then we were back in Spruce Grove on several trips. Yeah. And so it was a nice place.
This park, in addition to being adjacent to our RV dealer, also has a plant and garden center. And Steve picked up a tomato plant.
Yes. I was
a hanging tomato plant.
I was getting lonely. I was missing my greenhouse.
I wanted a hanging flower plant, and he came home with a tomato.
Yep.
With flowers on it, so it does.
And it now has tomatoes on it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that brings you up to date as to where we've been on this next segment. And from here, we are heading off to Edson and then back into British Columbia for about a month. So we'll catch up. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.